So the practice window open for Bryce Huff. What's your anticipation for how quick he can get back out there?
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how the week goes. We'll see how however long it takes. As you know, the practice window open up. We'll see how it goes.
How much does it help though? If he's able to come back, because obviously you guys have been using only 3 guys at edge rusher position.
Yeah, we feel good about the guys that have been playing and the amount of snaps they've been playing, and Chuck's done a good job as well, and we have a lot of confidence in him. So, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, I mean, Bryce is a good player, and we look forward to getting him back. Just don't know when that will be quite yet.
Before the injury, he obviously probably wasn't super thrilled with the way his season was going. What did you see from him? How did he handle that?
Yeah, I actually think Bryce has been a good teammate, and for us, he's had moments of having good, playing well. I thought he was, really doing a good job and making some plays. Thinking back to the Dallas game, the big sack he had I think it was the Dallas game, right? They had a big sack, and he's been able to get pressure. We're excited when we are able to get him back. We're excited to have him back in there and rolling.
Nick, I know you guys are always intentional about treating each game the same, preparing the same way, but obviously one of your goals coming into this season was to win the division, and you can this week. Has that been brought up? Has that been talked about as you guys prep?
No, I know we're pretty boring. We're getting ready to go play this game. We know that if we do win this game, that will happen, but really all we can focus on is our preparation. We haven't really talked about that. We'll talk about that after, when we're able to put the hat on or the T-shirt on there. So that's when we'll talk about that.
Nick, what has Doug Nussmeier brought to the table working with Jalen this year?
Yeah, I think he's an outstanding coach who's played the position and at a very high level, in the NFL and big time college football. And so, Doug's been a great coach for a long time too in college and professional football. Coached a lot of good players. Has been a coordinator. So, again, I just think he's done a really nice job of coaching Jalen and coaching the other guys, and I think he's fit in really well with our staff. And obviously, him and Kellen have a prior relationship, and yeah, really pumped that he's on our staff because I think he's a heck of a football coach, heck of a person, and he's doing a great job.
Is there anything specifically where he's made a difference with Jalen?
Yeah, I think again. When our players perform, all that credit goes to the players, but the coaches are behind the scenes, helping those guys out and trying to help them play to the best of their abilities, and so of course, I wouldn't say I'm not going to get into the specifics of what that is, but but Doug's just a really good coach, consistently focused on the details of his drop, of the fundamentals of how to play and throw, and the drop, the footwork that goes along with it. So all those things, and he's just, I think Doug's just a bulldog and is always all right, here now. Anytime there's a issue or a mistake, he's going to be or a footwork mistake, he's going to be on it, and I know that's something they've talked a lot about.
In relation to the staff, it may be a little early to talk about this, but the Jets interviewing for their GM position made me think about it. I mean, you guys are playing well enough. Some teams may inquire about some people on your staff, your coordinators. Given the history of that, how have you kind of approached that, or to know that there's dialogue open, clarity, and kind of succession plans in order?
Yeah, again, we've been through that before. You're constantly trying to develop the guys that aren't the coordinators to be able to step into those roles. If that were something that would be called upon, and your eyes always out for, other guys that could be, in play for that as well. Again, we get to that, and you always have to focus on. I know I always say, hey, focus on the time being, where you are, all these things, but there are things that you do have to focus on and think about. In which case some of those things happen, and so yeah, that's something that's I wouldn't say is on my mind heavy right now, but we always going into the year, as the year progresses, you have plans on what you think you might do if those things happen.
Your defense has the lowest blitz rate in the NFL, and yes, it's number one. From an offensive minded coach's point of view, what does it how does it affect you when a defense doesn't blitz a lot
and is able to be as productive? Yeah, I mean that's a huge advantage as far as our defense. I mean, I think what happens when you blitz, some things that happen. Again, there's many different ways to be successful. As a defense, if you look at all the defenses that have been top 5, I mean, they're all going to have their different styles. One thing as an offense that you think about when a team blitzes is there's one less guy to tackle your skill players if you are passing in that particular case. Once you get the ball in their hands, and I think back to our Green Bay game, they brought a pressure. The guy missed the tackle, and then there was less people there to chase down AJ. And then also same thing, as a run game, after you get through that first level, there's different blitzes that after you get through that first level, you can really, there's one less guy to tackle when you do that. And so, yeah, I mean, I think we've been really good at stopping explosive plays as a defense. That's part of it. And we've done a good job there of tackling and, playing different coverages in the secondary. So, many different reasons, a lot of different ways to be successful. Our defense has been playing really good so far.
When you have a sustained stretch
I was looking at you.
of success, do you have to handle things differently when it comes to corrections? When you have this,
Say that one more time.
when you have a sustained stretch of success, do you have to change your messaging at all when it comes to corrections? Do you have to
No.
tweak things?
No, I think when you are making corrections, it's the tape is very black and white, right? I mean, as far as either I didn't do my job or I did do my job. That's as a player, that's as a coach, and so our job, things that we focus so much on as coaches, is to paint the picture very clear, so that the job requirement is very clear, right? And so showing them different looks, different pictures, different things like that. Hey, here's the job requirement on this. And when you meet the standard, whether that's in situational football, whether that's on a play design, whether that's on a play design versus a certain look, offensively or defensively, when you meet the standard, you point it out and say, hey, this is really good. When you don't meet the standard, you correct it. I think that's something that you do no matter what. I know that sometimes you can even be harder on guys after wins and through stretches there, because you're constantly trying to, everyone's trying to get better. So nothing really changes. Again, it's kind of our core value as far as accountability. Our job as coaches is to be very clear and to do the things that we need to do. And then their job as players is to live up to that standard. And so we talk about that, and our corrections to the coaches and players are the same off of that.
You didn't face Marshawn Lattimore the first time with Washington. You did with New Orleans, but has that changed up after what you saw, expanding their coverages and changing up the coverages?
Yeah, it's been one game with him in there. He's a really good football player. We've played against him in the past with our games against the Saints, but really outstanding football player. Probably a little bit too little of film to be able to say, hey, because again, there's just been one game and you can see different things, but. Yeah, he's a really good player that would allow him to do different things like that because of how good he's played in the as a pro. So we'll have to be ready for him, and this is a good defense we're going against.
You spoke Monday about player development. How do you do that during the season when so much of the week is game plan specific? And what's Barwin's player development program kind of behind the scenes for you guys?
Yeah, little things that we do extra, again, not getting too much into that, but there's, we talk about having meetings with just the scout team players to prep them for practice, specifically on their jobs for that, so we get good looks as an offense. Well, a product of that too, or as a defense or in an offense, a product of that is you're spending extra time with them, coaching those guys up. And then we always try to find extra time at the end of the week where they're just, because when you go and you watch the offensive tape after practice or the defensive tape, you're watching, your plays. You're not going back sometimes in the film room and showing the scout team. So we're finding extra time to be able to do that with those guys as coaches, and then extra periods that we have. We always have extra walkthrough periods with developmental guys. We always have, extra periods at the end of the week, 7-on-7, 1-on-1s, different things like that with just the developmental guys and individual periods that are just specialized with them. And again, just trying to, pay them a lot, continue to develop the guys that aren't necessarily playing. I think what Connor does he does a good job of, spending that extra time with these guys as well. Grading the tape and on different ways, maybe a little differently than the coaches look at it. But again, you're trying to develop guys as much as you can. Again, going back, recruit, retain, develop. That's something that has been stuck in my mind for a long time, just with what I was taught, recruit, retain, develop, and Howie and his guys have done a great job of getting guys in here. And, and then our job as coaches is to develop them. And that's not just, just as coaches, but, through all the different departments we have in this building, Bob and his staff developing them, how to talk to you guys, and so everybody has a little piece of that. As far as how we develop, it's truly an organizational, cool thing about an organizational process.
Vic said earlier in the season that he's up in the booth because he likes to spread out, have notes. I know all coaches.
And it's cold at this time of year.
Yeah, that too. And he could be on the camera whenever that's. But all you coaches being prepared in your own ways. But that and other ways, how have you seen him and his thoroughness? And it seems like in some ways he takes it to another level.
Yeah. I just always see him pushing ways to get better and pushing he's always watching tape. He's always, if he's not in the staff room watching tape with the guys or his staff, the defensive staff, he's in his room grinding out on tape and looking for anything that can give us an advantage, right? And again, anything that can give him an advantage to call the game, anything that can give our guys an advantage to, to play the game. And so you really admire that because he's, putting the guys in positions to succeed and also just trying to give them every little nugget. I really respect the way he grinds and goes about his business.
Two more, please. In the 5 weeks since you last played the Commanders and Jaden Daniels, what have you seen from him specifically as far as, where they are this year and how well he's been?
Yeah, he's super dynamic. Man, he's a good passer. He's outstanding with the ball in his hands and creating. Got a lot of respect for him. And then, we'll have to play him for a couple times a year for a long time. And so I just continue to see him get better, as he sees different looks and different things like that. And I think they're doing a great job with him as coaches over there as well and adapting the offense around him.
What did you think of Jalen's outfit the other night?
Yeah, he's always got really cool outfits on. I wish I could pull those off.
All right, thank you.